Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about the Utica Sportsman. This comes in a rather low-grade leather sheath, snap fastener, which I happen to prefer. I don't like Velcro fasteners a whole lot. And here we go. Here is the Utica Sportsman. It's kind of a classic club point Bowie shape. This is a plastic handle. I suspect it's Bakelite, but I could be wrong there. But it feels solid, which is good. It's got two large brass pins, stainless steel guard, and a high carbon steel blade made in the USA. Obviously, this is not a high-end knife. That guard is very thin. And again, take a look at the sheath. I don't know how useful, because if you're going to be using your belt, it's going to be like that. So I actually don't know how useful that would be. Probably be better off putting a loop and then just kind of doing a dangle with that particular model. But I picked this up at an antique shop. I paid $15 for it, and prices online are going between $15 and $45. So I didn't get a bad price for it. It is a full grip, just comes to the edge of my palm, which is, to my mind, about the perfect size for a grip. It is a definite light-duty camp knife. You probably do some light skinning with it. It has a really nice satin finish to it, though it has a little bit of rusting here. I need to clean it up. The edge is actually, I actually somewhere after some looking at some carefully. This is a flat, and then this goes into a full flat grind, and it comes down to about there, and then the grind starts. But it comes down to a real micro bevel. I was actually quite impressed with it. I mean, it needs to be honed, but I was quite impressed when I took this out of the sheath at the shop, because they had it in a cabinet, so I couldn't actually access it until someone opened it up and let me look at it. I was quite impressed with the shape, and the blade was actually considered larger than I thought it was going to be, because that doesn't look particularly big, but that blade really does. You're very much filling up the entire sheath, and because it's so thin, it's kind of deceptive because it goes down fairly far. But it's a nice design. I looked online, and apparently they made this in a number of different configurations. There were like 3 different handle scales I saw online, and there's a couple of different stamping methods used. So I think this may have been made for more than one retailer by someone else. I don't know who the original manufacturer was. Was it Utica? Were they selling it, through other people at one point? We're not, but it really is quite comfortable. And to my mind, this is what would be considered a very civilized sized camp knife. Actually, I think you might be slightly larger than I would consider ideal for a camp knife, because with a handle this size, I really think a blade of just like a ½ inch longer than this would be the optimum camp size. I really think that your camp knife needs to be small and agile to do light duty chores, food prep, some whittling, maybe some skinning, things like that. And you carry a saw or a heavier blade, like for example the Kershaw Camp 10, to do your heavier tasks. And this is obviously was aimed at people that were not serious outdoorsmen. And probably something sold through a catalog at some point. But it's quite pleasant. It's a nice design. I'm really impressed with the grind. I really am. I don't see grinds this nice on many knives that are commercial. But it's a very basic. There's no swedge here. It's a very basic stamp blade. And if you do this, this you can actually feel a slight ridge here. So the stamping wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfectly ground. But it is it's a full tang. So that's nice. You don't see that in a lot of the lower end knives either. So overall, I think this is a good design, well executed, really nice grind, and a good edge. At least can be honed up to a decent edge. High carbon steel, so that means it's going to be able to hold an edge. You're going to have to take care of it a little bit, and whoever owned it before me didn't. But I will polish this up and make sure it's treated well, and keep the sheath, of course. as best condition I can. I don't know if I really want to do much to it. I don't want to hurt the overall patina on it, because it's got a nice patina. I'll admit that, even though it is kind of, a low grade of leather. But overall, I'm quite happy with my purchase of the Utica Sportsman.